drama surrounding the UN's men's national team. The last international window, the window before the Gold Cup, was filled with a lot more drama than anything on the pitch. And we're going to talk about it. Diego Cerrone hosting with the two pundits, Coach John Martinez, Carlos Castro. Guys, let's just dive right into it. A lot of people missed the international window, Christian Pulisic being the headliner, Yunus Musa, Weston McKennie, Serginho Dest, and a few others. And we'll just kind of go through the timeline, right? The boys missed the games. U.S. get rocked in both the friendlies. I think, what was it? It was 2-1 against Turkey, or Turkey. I don't know when we started calling it Turkey. And then 4-0 against Switzerland, 4 goals in the first half. It was just a brutal outing from the UN's men's national team. And then, the comments start coming, right? In the Nations League final, Landon Donovan made the comment, seeing Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes crying because they just won the Nations League. He basically said, we wished that the UN's men's national team players had that same passion. This is why you shouldn't, miss games for your country. That was Landon. Then Mark Pulisic, Christian Pulisic's dad. A few days later, claps back at Landon using ChatGPT, and basically said that Landon Donovan also took a sabbatical, and that he shouldn't be the one talking. A lot of other UN's men's national team former players, like Eddie Johnson, for example, actually supported Mark Pulisic's comments, supported Christian Pulisic, and then it just keeps going, right? And then in the Call It What You Want Soccer CBS podcast, Christian Pulisic actually comes on, defends him not being on the team. He basically said that he wanted to participate in the 2 friendlies before the Gold Cup, but eventually he wanted to take that break. Mauricio Pochettino said, either you're in or you're out. And he said, all right, you're out. So that kind of clarified things on the Pulisic side. And then Landon Donovan on the Unfiltered Soccer podcast with Tim Howard defended his own comments and basically said that when he took a sabbatical from soccer, not just from club, not just from country. He took it from soccer completely, missed out on $1 million from LA Galaxy, actually missed out on the 2014 World Cup because of that decision. A lot to get into. Mauricio Pochettino also had, I think it was like a Men in Blazers interview where he basically called out the U.S. culture and said that he wants to improve it. So there's just a lot of talking. And again, not enough playing. It was awful performances, both games from the national team. A few of the mainstays, Matt Turner, Tyler Adams, played in those games. Turner started one game. Adams played a few minutes in the first game. There's just a lot going on, and want to get your guys' takes. I obviously have my own takes as well, but floor is yours, fellas. There's a lot going on.
You want to go first, Johnny?
Sure.
I gotta crack one open for this.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? I think you try to resonate, you try to kind of level with what Pulisic is saying, right? And how he feels and the demand that football requires nowadays in terms of playing in Europe and the fixtures being so close together, one international tournament after another. This jam-packed schedule where in reality there is no resting time, right? And I think if we're just talking about Pulisic, him being the captain, him being that guy for the United States, for those who don't know, he struggled with injury with AC Milan. So he was like in and out of a team that I think
Even before.
Correct, that needed him. So he was struggling with injury, I think, since December. So a guy who wasn't healthy all year, trying to push through the club season. And then I guess when he found the opportunity to take a break, which let's be real, I get it. This is the last prep before the World Cup, like a major tournament, right? International tournament. And you should be playing, right? But I also understand why I think it would be the best time for him to take that break. Because at the end of the day, I think if you really look at these tournaments, well, look at the Gold Cup. It's a tournament that we usually go in with a B team.
Some years,
right? Depending,
yeah.
Right? And I think maybe this is one of those years. Bad timing, for sure.
Horrible timing.
Horrible timing, right?
That it can't be. That's not acceptable. I feel like to go in this year with a B team when you don't really have games, like real games to prepare. You know what I mean?
And we don't have the depth. Reality, like if we're talking about a B team, we're gonna go with a weak
MLS team,
B
maybe.
team. Yeah, weak.
Yep.
It's a weak because we're not.
It showed, right? It showed in the friendlies.
Correct. We're not talking about like depth that like Spain or Portugal, like teams like of that caliber have, where they can go into certain tournaments and play guys who don't play, or the A team, whatever you want to call it, right? So, horrible timing, right? So it sucks for fans like us who watch and support the U.S. national team. But then, like as a footballer, someone who kind of tries to see the other part of the game
Yeah,
where
you try to resonate with the player.
correct. So like I'm like in between, but obviously trying to stay positive and try to look at it like, hey, fuck, if he's resting, that means he's got to rest properly and get it all done right. Because by the time the World Cup is here, you're healthy, you're playing consistent minutes, and you got to go flying. Like this needs to
Yeah.
you need to back this up. Like you once that comes around, you got to straight out the gate, guns blazing. You can't make a mistake because now it was all for nothing.
I mean, I guess like this rest is a year ahead of the World Cup, right? So like he still has a whole European season to play. He could rest right now, get injured in a couple months, and not be ready for the World Cup, right?
That
So
was gonna be one of my thoughts. Yep.
so then at the same time, like I get it, player health, like, focus on yourself. But if you think about like all these superstars in other countries, they would die for their country. They would go in, play for their country injured because that's how much they love their country and playing for them, right?
Do you think that's a smart thing to do? I mean, in reality, like it's. I
I,
mean,
no, I mean,
I get it.
no,
Like
from a
fucking, let's go for it, right? And like, I
yeah,
guess what's his face? Clint Dempsey said that he was getting like shots on his hips and stuff. But like, you think
no,
like,
it's not the right thing to do. Like I guess from a
Yeah.
professional player aspect, right? But when you play for your love for your team and your country, like that's what fans want from their national team players, right?
Yeah.
So you think of Ronaldo, you think of Messi. Most of the times, like they played every Copa America, they played every Euro. Portugal or Ronaldo plays every Nations League game he can play. You know what I mean? And at the same time, Pulisic is bro. He's not that old, right? He's 26. I understand he wants a little break and stuff. He he's not a role model for this national team. I think he's lost that, and people have to look at maybe Tyler Adams as their guy going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a bunch of questions for you guys, so bear with me. Let's start with the first one, right? Okay. He did want to play in these two friendlies. The two friendlies were against European opponents, probably better than 99% of the opponents that you were going to play at a Gold Cup.
Gold Cup?
Do you agree with Pochettino's decision of not having a Pulisic, a Musa? Like, do you agree with not having two squads? Like, could he have gone with like an A squad for the friendlies and then maybe a B squad with for the Gold Cup?
I think it would be opposite. I think you go with the B squad, try stuff out in the friendlies, go out with the A team for Gold
Interesting.
Cup because Mexico's going with their A team. Costa
Right.
Rica, everybody's going with their A team this year.
Right.
This Gold Cup, right? So why would the U.S. not go with their A team? Why would they play with their B team when everybody's bringing their A team for this Gold Cup?
Because
It's
of
not
the
a Gold
because of
Cup.
the resting factor is what
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
getting at.
let's say Gold Cup's coming in about a week. They've had a month. This could have been his month rest leading up to the Gold Cup, and then you get on playing for the
That
country.
is what other people are saying. So yeah, I agree.
So I mean, I don't know. For me, I think Pulisic is wrong, and I don't know. I say this because I'm also not a coach, but if I was Pochettino, I'd be like, all right, if you don't want to be here this year, I'm not gonna call you up for the World Cup. Quickly, he would have played for quickly he would have joined, right? Some coaches would probably be like that, but I guess Pochettino's new. You also like the scrutiny behind making a decision like that. That's a bold decision, right?
Yeah, it's like 0 to 100 too fast. John, thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. And you don't. I don't think you have the leniency.
Say
That no, I think you do have that say.
Right.
But you let's say you make that decision as Pochettino, and like fair enough. Like coaches will do that. It's either 0 or 100. Either you're in, or you're out, or that's it. You're off the roster. But then you lose someone who's so vital,
but
and
that's the
in your
culture
in your success
that
though. But at the end of the day, he
that
needs to win games.
that's the culture that Pochettino wants to change here, right? Like he wants his players to fucking be in it 100%, right? You make that say like, all right, you don't want to play for me now, don't see you next year. The culture instantly switches. I feel like
I
no,
don't know. I don't, maybe, but I don't think so because I think this national team is so knitted and I think they're a tight group that you let their main guy go. I think he loses the locker room. He loses the locker room and you start from scratch and you don't have enough time to start from scratch.
So I want to maybe be the bad cop and debate how tight this group actually is because I'm starting to get the sense that Pulisic's on one side, maybe like with Weston. Pochettino seems to be on a different side, right? Because they seem to be there seems to be a rift, right?
already, which is crazy.
Already. And then you get a player or you get players, leaders like a Matt Turner, like a Tyler Adams who go to camp, right? Who had to sit through the BS of these last two games, plus hear all this noise in the background. I feel like, feelings start to maybe bubble up. And I'm going to give an example, right? It's like in high school, right? Like in preseason, right? If somebody doesn't participate in preseason, What'd you call him? You called
You're
him
a
out.
you're a
You're a
bitch.
you're a bitch. You're soft. And you hear a lot of, especially Tim Howard, Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan, you hear them like how an old and former camps, they would bully each other about going to camp. Be like, yo, you're going to camp, right? So that was a culture set back then. And that team, man, that team was strong. That team was one half away from winning the Confederations Cup against Brazil. That's the team that knocked out Spain, right, in that semifinal. So I feel like that was the culture back then, and it gives me that old like Benedict's culture, right? Tough, nitty. People got bullied. I'm not an advocate for bullying, right? But that it was a different mindset, right? It was that old school generation that did that. Now I'm gonna fast forward to now, right? Now you got people that are resting, right? I could see, and again, I don't know what's going on, but I could see Tyler Adams in the back of his head, like, man, I'm here in the trenches, and you're not here with me. Matt
I'd be
Turner,
pissed.
same thing. I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
I'd be
I
pissed if
agree.
I was a player. So they might not say that out loud. Tyler Adams says all the right things in the press conference, right? We're tight, blah blah blah. He's gonna defend his teammates, but
They have
at some
combos.
I'm sure at some point he's gonna be like, dude, we need you, and we need you now because the World Cup is not that far away.
Like, dude, you left us high and dry. Like, I get it. Like, take care of your own, but like that's the point, right? Where like I think devil's advocate, you're trying to figure out, you're trying to resonate from this angle, you're trying to resonate as a coach, as a player, as a teammate. Like now we're looking at
Yeah.
the teammate angle. We're like, if that was us and one of our guys who vital piece in our success is missing out because he needs some rest, and we're over here in the trenches, like you said, busting our ass and doing the things that probably they don't want to do. Like, I'm sure they want to
Tyler
do
Adams Tyler Adams also was is injury prone, very
For a
injury
while
prone,
too.
probably more
Yeah,
injury prone than Chris Pulisic,
yeah,
and he logged a lot of miles for Bournemouth this season, right?
yeah. It's that Jersey blood. That
Him and
eat.
Turner.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, it's different breeds, man. This is the
So that
mecca of football.
and that's what I'm worried about. Carlos, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I mean, basically what you're gonna say, right? Like these guys, Tyler Adams playing against Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow, while Pulisic is resting, legs up, watching them, right? And that matters, right? Like you want to go to war with your boys, but when they're not prepping with you and they just show up for the final product, it kind of there's like the team dynamics off a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's not what the U.S. needs a year before the World Cup. They were really tight at the last World Cup, right? Everything was looking good. We had hopes for this World Cup, and then now a year before, everything exploded, and they're kind of back to square one. And this Gold Cup would have been the perfect moment for them to all come together, play well under Poach, get more experience with each other, win the Gold Cup, and then go into the World Cup in the right direction, right? So not playing in the Gold Cup, I mean, what do they have to? I don't know what international games they have to prep for, but it's not the same. Like this is a official FIFA tournament that they needed to play together and prep for the World Cup.
And that's the thing too, right? It's like, okay, we know that there's going to be multiple international windows with probably European opponents, with probably World Cup opponents, but it's not the same. It's not the same when you're playing a Panama who is fighting for their life in a tournament setting. And we've seen in the past USA not living up to the moment, right? And based on kind of the trend that we've been seeing, you almost expect it. I asked you guys this question a few months ago. I was like, "Is USA going to bring their A squad?" You guys said definitely
They had to.
Or
after the last
should.
tournament, or you
Yeah.
should, and now they're not. So I agree. Like the vibe is off in the team. The vibe is off with the pundits, with like many people, right? Because now people are choosing sides, right? Now that people are either on Pulisic's side, they're on Donovan's side, they're on Pochettino's side. People are choosing sides now, and that's just not good. You need everyone
Country's
to be on.
divided.
You need to be on one side,
Yeah.
and you need to inspire people, right? I mean, you guys are seeing the convos about the Club World Cups, ticket pricing, the Gold Cup ticket pricing. I mean, not cheap, right? Obviously, they're going down now, but in the beginning, very expensive. So you're expecting people to cough up hard-earned money, good money, to watch a B squad, a BC squad. We couldn't even fill up half the stadium with the A squad.
Yeah.
So now what, right? Like I just the vibes are very low overall. And it's just not what you want going a year into a World Cup that you're hosting.
Yeah, I mean it's wild because Mexico and Canada seem to have like their goal of how they want to prep and they're executing it, right? Like they have all their players bought into their system. Canada as well, they're ready to go. They're ready to play in this World Cup. All the players came to play besides the ones who aren't injured. And then, they're doing it right. And then the US is just I don't know, bro.
And
You
Jesse
think it?
Marsh,
I don't know how they get to this moment right now. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how they were so good after the World Cup for like 2 years. They were a little off with Greg for a little bit. They were like, all right, come. And then everyone's excited the poach is going to be here, change the culture. Everyone's going to be bought into it. And we're worse off now than we were with Greg a year ago.
And Jesse Marsh, right? He also wanted to
He wanted the
chime
job.
in, right? And well, he wanted the job, yes, but then he also chimed in.
They,
He said nobody in Canada
Yeah,
wanted to take to take time off, right? Everybody's bought in.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
he was making
taking
sure
taking
that
jabs.
people know that he has his shit together and that he probably was the right guy for the job. Because
He was.
if it was Jesse Marsh, he probably would have told those guys like, "Hey, you're not taking time off. Like, we're preparing for a World Cup. We're hosting this World Cup.
Yes.
Everyone's gonna be bought in. You're gonna be in camp, and that's it. That's all you have to say."
So now, do you think? I mean, listen. Sometimes you need a guy to put his foot down, right? So now, do we think that Poach is just kind of smoking mirrors?
Hey, we said it. Was looking at one of the clips you posted a long time, a couple months ago, Diego, and we're talking about BJ and Poach.
Yeah,
And me and Diego are like, "Hey, BJ," and Johnny's like, "Come on, bro.
Because in reality,
Come
why
on,
would
it
you
gotta
want?
be Poach."
It's got to be Poach. Because listen, if this guy has like this European resume and has brought teams to the Champions League final, he's coached the top teams in Europe. Something we've been asking for as a nation because our guys are European based with their
Yeah.
clubs, right? This is like kind of whatever we want to say the golden generation, right? Maybe a guy with a different aspect of the game, a little deeper analysis, a bit more of like of an international feeling, someone outside the box, which should have been a positive thing, and it
yeah.
kind of just it's like smoke and mirrors now. Like,
I just
is it? Yes, fuck.
I feel like he doesn't want to cause rift in the team. So you want a break? All right, yeah, go for it. Cool.
He looks like too much of a nice guy, right? And these guys on the national team are
For
for
right
right now,
now.
yes. But I mean, these guys on the team seem to be like, divas, right? Superstars. And they walk in with that arrogance, and you need a coach that's gonna put them in their place. And if Poch doesn't seem to be that guy to do that, means he's not the guy to
Yeah,
coach this team. Even though he might be the coach tactically and whatever, but as like the leader and the visionary of the team, like if he can't put these guys in their place, which is the type of coach they need, he's not the guy.
yeah.
But
Go ahead, John.
I was thinking, so like, okay, let's say because you know how we talked about BJ and like it was probably just vibes and like he didn't seem like that guy to put his foot down and like do those big decisions or make those big decisions that
Yes.
we're talking about now. Let's say leading up to the World Cup, we have a decent run and he keeps his job. And then he makes those decisions where, because Diego said maybe it's too early to do those things, right? The time frame is very kind of congested in terms of like leading up to the World Cup. So like when he gets there and then maybe things turn out for the best and they don't sack him, does he start pulling the weeds out? Does he start picking guys out that disrupt the culture that he's trying to establish? And then he sticks with the guys that want to be there and do the things he's asking for.
Yeah, I mean, Greg did that in the last World Cup, right? He brought a couple of vibe guys. He didn't bring Zach Steffen because he didn't want Steffen to be a distraction. Say Turner had a bad game, then you get riffs of Steffen should be starting over Turner. He said, "Nah, I'm not gonna ruin the vibe. Steffen, you're out." And he did that with a few other guys who he brought as like locker room guys. But I want to talk about depth because Dax McCarty on I think it's called Soccer Podcast. They replaced the regulars, but it's Dax McCarty and Taylor Twellman. And
Mm,
Dak basically said that it really highlights the lack of depth, like we mentioned, of the squad because players can say, "Nah, I don't want to go. I don't want like I'm okay. Like you should put other people in." Because if you're France, if you're Argentina, if you're whoever,
can't do
if
that.
you miss, you can't do that. You miss one camp, someone's gonna take your spot, right? And if you tell a coach, "Nah, I don't want to play," you're not gonna get called up ever again. Like if you did get denied, if you deny your
Call up.
coach or the call up, you're getting fried from everybody. Doesn't matter if you're knocked up, whatever. You're getting killed by the media, by everybody. So it does really highlight the lack of depth. The games we don't need to talk about it, but the games highlighted it even more the lack of quality that we have in our bench. I think what bothers me about all of this is that we have like 95% of our squad pretty much set to go to the World Cup. We can pick out 20 players right now that are probably going to be in the roster. So what bothers me is that people are like, "Oh, but this tournament is for the players that are on the outside," and there's not that much room.
None of them are going to make an impact next year anyway. These players that they want to, get minutes. No.
Yeah, so I think that's what bothers me. Like if we had, a couple of players that, and we do, but I don't see many of these players making an impact. Okay, let's see what they do in the Gold Cup. Maybe we'll think differently. But as of right now, I don't see it. And it to me it just feels like a wasted month um, that we could have had with our A squad. Hey, listen, if we brought a bigger team, we could have had maybe half A, half B. Cool. But at least they're training, at least they're trying to figure out Poach's system. But yeah, it does seem like a wasted month of getting like maybe not the best quality tournament play, but it's tournament play, right? You might go to penalties, right? You need that experience, you need that pressure of playing in these tournament games because that's where you're gonna get next year. And you need to inspire the fans. The fans are pissed, and the fans aren't
All time
inspired.
low.
All time low.
And to be fair, like based off the last couple of tournaments or whatever, the last tournament and the last couple of games, it's probably been the best rebound or kind of step forward because of what they've done.
Nations League.
So like it could have been a good prep. Like let's get about like the mindset should have been let's get out of our slump, break these kind of losing trends, and let's go win something. And then, like you said, inspire the fans, get the guys back on the same page, get older guys like older U.S. men's national team players back on this train.
Yeah.
Because obviously this platform, the podcast stuff, being able to voice it, it's huge.
Yep.
These guys are not holding back. These guys are just,
No.
like you said, picking a side, and they're standing on fucking business. And it's causing a division.
Huge.
Playing out in the soccer world.
Yeah.
I think you could say that just means the sport is growing in the U.S., right? Because
Yeah.
if you
More
think about
voices.
media
Yeah.
in other countries, I'm pretty sure a bunch of shit's going on. Everyone's picking sides. Everyone's talking shit to each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of platforms. So the fact that that's happening here, you can say maybe the sport is growing. You know what I mean?
I do want to pose one more question for this topic. Did Poach and U.S. Soccer, maybe in the back of their minds, did they try to save themselves? Because if you bring an A squad and you don't win this tournament, if you bring an A squad and you don't win this tournament and you maybe lose in the semis to Panama or you lose to Mexico in the final, would the vibe be the same? Would it be worse? Would it be better if they played better? What do you guys think?
Worse. It would be
I mean,
worse.
the vibe will be worse, but in the long run, they'd only improve.
But the thing is, like, no one ever thinks about the long run. People think about the now. People think about the next game. People say the long run, but two bad friendlies and it's on fire. It's on fire. So, yeah, people might say the long run, but in reality, people think about now. The fans think about now. These pundits think about now.
Yeah.
Like, people are saying they're ashamed, they're disappointed. It's not, I don't think it's long term. I think that happens to Pochettino in the A squad. They are getting crucified.
He might get sacked.
Correct. They sacked his ass.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, did U.S. Soccer in the back of their mind, have a say? You're like, hey, Poach, like, let it slide. Because you know what? If he does have an A squad and they lose, everyone is not only going to be mad at Poach, they're going to be mad at U.S. Soccer. They'll be like, why did you pick this guy if he can't make the team click? Because now he has an out, right? The friendlies, I don't have my A squad. Oh, if we don't win the Gold Cup or if we play bad, I don't have my team. Sorry, guys. So they both, U.S. Soccer and Poach, have an out right now.
Now, if he wins it with this team, are we back on board? Boom. Damn.
Are we back?
No, I mean, it's a different team. It's not the team that they're even going to play with, right? We're just rooting for the U.S. out of just...
With the vibes, right? We're here.
Yeah, but all the vibes, none of those players who won the Gold Cup are going to be really there next camp. At least the majority of the guys, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe half the team.
Yeah.
So all those guys who are vibe guys, they might not even be there next year.
But we have...
And if anything, the people who won the Gold Cup with all the vibes, they'll come back next camp and then see all their boys that they just won the Gold Cup out of the team and then just be there pissed off with the guys that are just coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a tryout for the A squad for the World Cup.
I mean, we have won Gold Cups in the past with B and C squads, and that's when certain guys, made a name for themselves. But yeah, curious to see how this Gold Cup goes. When does it start?
Today. Mexico, Dominican Republic.
That's the first game of the Gold Cup?
Dominican Republic.
Oh,
today.
wow.
I got them 2-0 against Mexico.
Where's your DR jersey,
Dominican
man?
Republic.
It's on his face. It's
I
the
honestly,
it's the face card.
Yo,
yeah, it's a
hold
face
on.
card.
First of all, Johnny is drinking a full bottle of wine at
No, 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 no,
12
no.
noon in the day.
It's not. It wasn't full. It was like a lot, like under half.
This is like your fourth cup.
But it's like
That's perfect.
here. It's like a full cup then.
This is a
Fancy,
perfect
fancy.
timing to let the people know that we've been sponsored by Four Loko. But footy.
That's actually treacherous.
That's
You're
actually
talking about
insane.
you're talking about my Cabernet, right, wine compared to this guy. He didn't even say a word.
It was
He didn't.
it was sponsored.
He's been drinking Four Loko for about 30 minutes right now, bro. This guy's
Yeah.
a monster.
Monster is right.
Monster.
I would agree.
What? That's and he's still
I-
telling me we're
I had to do
sponsored
it
by
for the
Four
sponsor.
Loko.
As if he wasn't out last night drinking as well.
What the hell, dude?
I got
Carlos,
good
man,
sleep.
I love it. I love the energy.
We're called Pup Footy, bro. We got to drink.
All right, we'll see how the U.S. perform in the Gold Cup. We'll hopefully get some better results, and we'll continue to cover the USMNT drama in the coming weeks. Take care, fellas.